really wanted to drift this track, proficient in Blender, so I thought, why not make my own track? And to be clear, this project did not take weeks. It was over the span of a few months after I gave up quite a few times. Wham bam, mystery ham, this is what the final product looks like. I'm not going to go into too much depth, just going to show you how to make it. Not going to be a long video, just wanted to show you guys what I made. I think it's pretty cool. I'd really appreciate a like and subscribe. I'm obviously a new channel. Poof, everything is gone. I went on Google Earth to find some reference images from directly above, which would have made it a lot easier, but sadly the track is very new, so Google Earth hadn't been updated yet, therefore it wasn't there. So I had to go through YouTube, find a bunch of reference photos, and once you get those reference photos, you just kind of have to keep molding the track until you get what you like. I'm pretty happy with the finished product. It dressed pretty well. The scale might be a tad off, but that's kind of up to preference, what car you use. Some cars that'll feel great, some cars that'll feel a bit big, a bit small. It's definitely a lot of fun, I just want to be clear. But once you get the track shape done, I haven't added much elevation other than the whip here. You can then go and add the terrain that surrounds it. Now again, this is actually not the real save file. Everything looks very off. These are none of the real names. Probably ignore that. But this is basically just the texture I did for the ground. You can use something known as the Ant landscape tool. So if I go add mesh and then landscape, I'll have that. And then I basically just got a very, not that rugged terrain, and I basically just made it very wide, not very tall, so it kind of acts as lumpy grass or just adds more texture to the environment. Obviously, once it gets put into ASSETO CORSA, there'll be little blades of grass, which makes it look a lot better. Now that I've done that, I can basically put it together and I'll get something like this. Yes, this looks way better. All the grass is actually textured as well as the pavement. This is the real save file, but I've basically just tweaked the elevation a little bit, so it's very subtle, but you can feel it on the car, trust me. I think it looks pretty good for the fact I'm very new to this. I appreciate the texture on the ground, makes it look a lot more alive, even though the track is very flat, but that's just kind of something to get used to. But you don't notice the track is too flat, especially with all the trees surrounding it, which makes it look a lot more, green, a lot more enclosed. Once you get something like this, you can start adding your trees and also add bushes, just so you got the greenery and shrubbery on both levels. But bang, you can add the props now. Props, you can basically get them from any folder, really. You can just get a props folder online for your Blender tracks. They're very low poly, they take up very little space, but they just add a lot to the environment, even if it's very small. Like here, this is meant to be a road that goes off, but I just added these two little blocks. Nice little crane thingy, pretty cool. Tent, truck, cars, tent, truck. I mean, what more can you want? Some barriers here, just stopping you going off that way. And then some more, really you can add as many as you want. It just adds to the environment, makes it a lot more fun, makes it a lot more, so you can look at more stuff. It just really adds to it, so feel free to do that. It takes very little effort. You're basically just moving things around and assigning their texture. You also, in KS Editor, you will have to individually choose them and make sure their properties are correct so they don't look weird. Last bit, it's kind of annoying to do, but you have to do it, is name everything correctly. If you don't name your road correctly, it will not work. It'll have no hitbox. Like the grass and the road, all have hitboxes, so you actually can hit them. But all these props, all these trees, nada, nothing. You can go straight through them because they're not named anything that would give them properties to hit anything. I'm sure you can change it with some settings, but I don't know how. So I'm just going to stick to the naming for now. You're then going to want to go File, Export, make sure everything's alright. Go FBX, because it's for KS Editor. Make sure it's all on Mesh, Active Collection, just go Visible Objects. Scale, you want to go 0.01. Has to be that small, otherwise everything will be massive. And then you're going to want to apply scaling, FBX Full. What you want to do is you want to go Files, ASSETO CORSA, SDK, Editor, and open KS Editor, and then you'll be met with this application here. You want to go File, open FBX, and then open the FBX file that you made. The next thing that you're going to want to do is, once you're in, you're going to be met with this illumination tab, or you want to go over to it if you're not on it already. Make sure weather's set to clear and PBFX is set to natural, and then press load for both of those. The next thing you're going to want to do is right click any texture,
first we'll do the row, just something basic. And you want to tweak these values so you find something you like. These main three are what you want to change the value of the textures itself. And these ones here are more for the way light reacts with it, I'm pretty sure. And then basically that applies for everything except for trees. With trees, you actually want to change this processing filter, whatever it's called. Go KS per pixel, click on that, and then scroll down to KS tree. And now all that stuff is now see-through, that's meant to be transparent. Then you just want to tweak the values again, 0.3, 0.2, 0.2 as well, 0.1. Doesn't look great, just keep tweaking it until you find something you like, and that's all the objects until you're done. I'm not going to finish this process here because I've already done it and it takes quite a while. You have to do it for pretty much all objects, but if two things share the same texture, it'll do them for all. So if I did it to just this tree, it applies to all the other single trees. But then you're going to want to go File, Save Can5, Track, make sure it's Track, and then save it to whichever file you want. Now the file structure is quite complicated. Best off finding a preset and editing it from there. A lot of people give presets, especially when making tutorials. I'll link some helpful tutorials in the description for the whole process. But after I've created my file with the FBX with the KN5, I'll put it all in this one file called AC_boys. Make sure it's got AC at the front, and then CBOYS is what I've got at the end, just because that's the track name. And then you're going to want to paste it in here. And then these other 4 tabs are basically just basic information for the track. Like if I go UI and then UI track, it should just give me some basic information such as where it's located, the name of the track. This is the main thing you want to change, the name, make sure it matches the file name. But you also can change location, what year, what version. To be honest, I don't change any of this except the name because it doesn't make that much of a difference really. And that's the outline, which is basically what you see on the track cover. To know the outline of the track, you don't really need to change it. You can if you want. It doesn't really matter. Once you've done that, once that's done, you will be able to drag and drop the track into ASSETO CORSA Content Manager or directly into the files. It's kind of up to preference what you want to do. Just like that, drag it in, it should come up in the top right, press install. It's successfully installed, I already have it installed anyway. And then it should just come up here, ignore that, that's just because it's on an older version, so it's a bit confused, but it works completely fine, and then you can just load it up. This is the track in ASSETO CORSA. I recommend using like scattered clouds, that kind of makes the light look the best. You can download it from my Google Drive link in the description, it's completely free of course. I would really like a like or subscribe, I really appreciate it.